Hello. Welcome to the KC Coin Auction's very first YouTube video. Today we're going to be looking through some of the slabbed coins that we're going to have coming up for auction very soon. We're going to start with some of these copper coins. Got this really nice XF45 with the 55 uprights. Just a beautiful original coin. Absolutely stunning. Again, this is 1855. We're going to move on to a 1909 Details Indian head. Now, this coin is absolutely stunning. Unk details because of damage, and the only damage that I've been able to find is a tiny little hole at the end of the N, and now that it doesn't go all the way through, so it's just a larger than average nick. If you can see anything in the video that is another reason why it got a details grade, please let me know. I'd love to, learn more about why this coin ended up with a details grade. But let's move on from that. Now we've got an unfortunate bit of environmental damage. VF20 details on this 1857 Flying Eagle cent. It's still a nice little piece. You can crack it out and put it in a little album. Now we've got a much nicer piece. Unfortunately, it's got a little bit of unfortunate toning. That's not the prettiest, but it is still a very nice coin. EF40, 13 stars. This is an 1828 half cent. Really nice piece. All right, and this is the last graded copper coin that we have in this auction thus far. We are still seeking consignments, so we might get a couple more before the start of the auction, but as of right now, this is all we've got, and this is CAC G details because of some rim damage. It's right over here on the right side. Decent little coin. Whoops. Now we're going to go on to the one error that we have thus far. PCGS called it various. Not sure why. To me, this absolutely looks like a Jefferson nickel. Oh my God. I don't know why it took me that long. Looks like a 99 Denver. You can see the last 9 and the first 9 peeking out. 93% off center strike, an MS63. If you collect errors, this is just about as far as undistinguishable as you can get while still being able to tell what it is. So this is definitely an interesting coin. Oh, well, it's not a coin, it's a blank. All right, now let's go into the 2 gold coins we have thus far. We got an 1859 $1 gold piece. I love this type Indian head, or Indian princess $1 gold piece. I think the heads are always struck phenomenally, and it's circulated just beautifully. The obverse is a little off-centered, but I mean, or the reverse is a little off-centered. I'm a bit tired if you couldn't tell, but we're looking at the obverse anyways, so it doesn't bother me all too much. I mean, it's just beautifully circulated, very light tick marks and ticky-tack marks in the fields, and just a beautifully circulated coin. Now we're going to move on to the other $1 gold piece that we have thus far. It's an 1850 AU53 Type 1. Just a nicely circulated coin. Definitely a lot more circulated than the other one. If you put them side by side, they're just, you can kind of tell the difference between the 53 and the 55, but still a beautiful coin if you need one for a typeset. Um, I don't like the Type 1s as much as I like the Type 3s, but it is still a stunning little coin. All right, let's move on to some seated liberties that I've got for you guys. We got a VG8 1852O seated liberty dime. I really like that everything is super distinguished on the reverse. I mean, that O is just so pronounced because of the toning in the fields. Straight grade, seated Liberty dime, just a really nice piece of coinage right there. And now we have another VG8, but this one is an 1877 Carson City quarter. Seated Liberty. The Carson City is a little bit faint, but it is definitely there with the motto 1877. The shield has quite a bit of wear. I don't think you can make out all of Liberty. I think it looks like the L and the I are worn down, but still a very nice seat of Liberty for VG8. Yeah. Now let's move on to the not so great seated Liberty that I have in a slab here. This is in an annex slab. It is AG3 and it is an 1876 Carson City. But this one is a $50, so, you know, nicely worn, really circulated. Just a decent all-around coin. But now we get to the very nice seated Liberty that I have for you. This is an 1855 O AU55 and a CAC holder. The reverse on this coin is just stunning. I mean, it's struck so well. The eagle is perfectly crisp. All of the lines in the shield are there. I mean, the obverse is just as beautiful as well. I mean, the originality of the coin is just all there. I mean, it's just a stunning piece. Again, the 1855 O AU55 with the arrows, $50, just completely beautiful. All right, let's move on to some walking liberties. This one's a little bit odd. NGC decided not to grade this for some reason. They just put it in the holder for the collection, the West 57th Street collection. I wasn't able to find any information on that, but if you know anything, drop something in the comments to, you know, teach me a little bit. But you know, nice little coin. It's probably like a G6 VG8 somewhere in there. Is a 1938D, just a nice little coin. Now we have an absolutely stunning gem 1947D Walking Liberty half. MS65, beautiful gemmy luster. There's a little bit of toning on across the top, but I don't really mind that. I mean, just an absolutely beautiful coin. Very few ticks in the field, you know, as you'd expect from a gem coin, but yeah, just look at the way that catches the light. Oh, it's so beautiful. I could look at this coin all day long. Let's move on to some capped bust halves. I've always really liked these. This one's not the greatest VF details. It is very heavily cleaned, so if you don't mind a cleaned coin, then this one's for you. But you know, if you don't like them, then maybe not. But you know, you could crack it out, throw it in an album. It's a very nice coin. Liberty's visible all the way through 1834. It does have the small date with small letters. So it's a fairly interesting coin, just very cleaned. But we do have one very nice cap bust half. I mean, the originality on this coin is just stunning. Like XF40, all of the original crust is still there. and it's got the green bean. Now this is an 1824. I've always loved the way these twos look on the cap bust halves. It's just the way that they swirl like that. But again, like I said, it's got all the bells and whistles with that green bean up there from CAC. Just a beautiful little coin. Can't see any reason to not like it. All right, let's move on to some of the proofs we have coming up in this auction. We've got this 1956 Roosevelt Proof 68 star. I mean, as far as proof coins go, this is just about as good as it's going to get. And this is also a very affordable coin, so if you're looking for some proofs, or if you're just getting into coin collecting, it's a great option for you because it's not only affordable, but it is a beautiful coin to look at. Because I mean, at 68 star, you're tiptoeing on perfection. I mean, with the naked eye, I'd be shocked if you could find any flaws on this coin. Now we have one more proof coin in this auction. It is a 1956 Type 2 Franklin half. This is proof 68, so not quite as high as the Roosevelt dime I just showed you, but it is still a very, very nice Franklin proof if you are looking for one. Proof 68, just a stunning, stunning coin. All right. I want to look at some Mercury dimes. These are some of my favorite coins. I just love the design on them. And this is an MS65 full bands. So it is pretty up there as far as Mercury dimes go. This is a 44D, so a very, very common date. But it is a stunning coin nonetheless. If you're looking for a very, very high grade Mercury dime and you don't want to break the bank, this could be it. I mean, it is a gem coin, got that beautiful gemmy luster on there. Very few ticks in the field. I mean, it is an MS65 full bands graded by NGC, so you can't really ever complain when it comes to NGC's grading. And it's just a absolutely stunning coin. So we actually have two 1944D Mercury dimes, but this one is a 66 full bands. I just love this coin. I've been looking at it for a couple weeks now, and it's been one of my favorites out of this collection that we've got here. It's just absolutely stunning. You know, it obviously has that gemmy luster that you expect with 65 plus coins. But it is just absolutely stunning. There are very, very few flaws that I've been able to find on this coin. Just absolutely stunning. I've got a couple of quarters for you. This is another gem, MS65 1936 Washington quarter. I feel like a broken record saying this, but beautiful gemmy luster on there. You know, 1936. Just a all-around wonderful coin. There's some toning in the top and a cross going down on the obverse, but you know, it is still a gem quarter. Beautiful. And here is the other MS65 Washington quarter we've got for you. This is a 1953D. There is a black mark at the top, but that is just about the only bit of... Oh, there's another mark out on the right wing. But other than those two marks, beautiful gem coin right there. right, let's move on to a section everybody loves, the Morgan dollars. Fortunately, we're starting out with an ICG holder. I swear this is the only one we've got for the Morgans. This is graded AU53, and honestly, I don't think the grade's that bad on here. This is just a stunning Morgan. There's a fingerprint on the left field. This is an 1881 O AU53. Unfortunately, again, this is graded by IGC, but this is actually one of my favorite Morgans one of my favorite Morgans in the auction. I really like the look of it, and it's pretty much blast white. Decent strike, but yeah, just a all-around solid coin, even in an IGC holder. All right, let's move on to the Morgans in the NGC holders. This is an MS63 19040. Some decent toning on this. Got good luster left. I'm using window light, so I can't quite show the cartwheeling effect. But like I said, 19040, and you can't really ever complain with an MS63 Morgan. They're plentiful enough where they're, fairly affordable, but it is still a very high grade, highly collectible coin. So if you're looking to get into coin collecting and you want something really nice, but don't want to completely break the bank with your first coin, MS63 Morgans are probably the way to go, because there are so many of them and they are still stunning coins. Well, let's move on to some of the other MS63 Morgans we have today. We have quite a few of them. This one is an 1883 O. Great cartwheel luster on there. And 83 O. Just a beautiful coin. Nice strike. There's some ticks and some light scratching up in the fields on the reverse up there, and then on the obverse there's some in the left field and on the cheek. But this is a very solid coin for MS63. Now we've got a 1902 MS63 Morgan. Great cartwheel luster again. The strike is not the greatest on this. I mean, you can hardly see the feathers, and I don't really like the hazing on this coin. But, it is still a solid Morgan dollar, 1902, if you need that date for your Morgan dollar set. You couldn't really complain. This is a 1884 O in MS63. It's got that American flag with the Morgan dollar up on the top in the NGC holder. Can't tell if that hazing's on the coin or the holder. NGC holders kind of scratch up a little bit, and I don't really like that. And this holder in particular is not in great condition, but the coin underneath seems to be pretty nice. I mean, you got a couple of ticks out in the field. And yeah, that reverse is very nice. And the obverse is very nice too. I'm kind of surprised it's got a 63. That 1884, very nice coin. Now on to our last NGC Morgan dollar. This is a 1904 O MS63. Very solid coin. There's some dark spots out in the field on the reverse, and a couple on the obverse as well. I had to make sure that wasn't on the slab and it was actually on the coin. But as far as like chatter on the fields, this does not have a ton of it, which is really nice. Chatter in the fields of Morgan dollars is just like my least favorite thing. I really like Morgans, but I hate it when there's chatter on them. This one's pretty nice. I think the strike held it back. but very nice coin. Now we're going to go into a 1881 MS63 in the old PCGS holder. Beautiful coin. The toning kind of stops across the face, which I think is a little bit odd because it's not curved like it would be in a bag or anything like that. But you know, a Morgan and an old holder, MS63, can't really ever complain owning a coin like this. This is just absolutely stunning. Very little chatter in the field. Some chatter on her cheek and up in the cap. And I don't really like the toning or hazing that happened on the reverse, but it is still a very nice coin, and people love this green up here in the holder, mostly because they graded harsher back then, but I prefer the green over the blue. Anyways, let's move on to our next PCGS Morgan. This is another MS63. I feel like a broken record saying another MS63 Morgan, but this one is an 1887. Great luster on here. Wow, this is a beautiful coin. Philadelphia Mint, not a ton of chatter. There's some on the right field. A little dot in front of the eagle and under the S. Doesn't look like there's any discoloration on the obverse, just on the reverse. Very little chatter. Oh, very nice coin. Very nice indeed. I could look at that thing all day. But I have to move on to our next MS63 Morgan. This one is a 1921 Philadelphia Mint. There's a little bit of fog on the field, or not on the field, on the holder, but there's some chatter on the cheek that I'm not the biggest fan of, and a little bit in the field. Other than that, this is looking like a pretty clean coin. Not seeing any discoloration. Again, a little bit of chatter on the field in the reverse, but not a large amount. Just an overall solid looking coin. It keeps fogging up. Odd. All right, this is the last one. Our last MS63 Morgan. This one is an 1884 O. Wow, there's a lot of chatter on this one. Ton out in the right field and on the cheek. A little throughout the cap. How about the reverse is very nice. You can see most of the eagle's breast feathers. Not a ton of chatter. It's a little bit up in there, but you know, it's a Morgan, you're going to have some of it. Very, very solid coin. All right, we're down to two coins, and they are both MS64 Morgans. This one is an 1885 from the Philadelphia Mint. Very little chatter out in the fields, as you'd expect from an 1884. On the neck, there's a little bit. There is some gunk on the back of this slab, but I will make sure that is dealt with before these are listed. Great cartwheel luster on this. You can see all of the breast feathers. A little bit of toning on the top, and it looks like a little bit on the bottom as well. But all around a very beautiful coin. And this is our very last coin of this video. An 1896 MS64 Morgan. And there is a weird bit of toning going across the obverse. I don't think I really don't like that. I don't know if it does anything for you guys, but it's not my favorite. But the reverse on this coin looks wonderful. Beautiful breast feathers. Hardly any chatter on that field. Wow. That's quite reflective. Very good. I don't know, I just don't like this obverse. But what can you do? You know, it's a coin. They age how they age. That's why we all like coins, because, you know, no two coins look the same due to, you know, wear and toning. So Yeah, and that is the last coin of the video. Thank you all very much for watching this first video from the KC coin auction. The auction for this will be going up very shortly, so subscribe to the YouTube channel, uh, follow our other social pages. If you want to stay up to date and see when the auction goes online, I'm sure there will be a number of other videos before that happens. So just hit the notification bell and make sure you're tuning in to the rest of our videos to see what else we get before the auction. You all have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you very much for watching.